time and space to give yourself a break. Here you'll find some love, music, laughter, and above all, she'll dare to tell the truth. And so come to Granny's place and give your spirit a big boost.
Welcome to Granny's Place, a haven for love, entertainment, and uncommon sense. I'm Sweet Baby James, and I'm here to introduce you to Granny Rocks, and also to today's ongoing theme. You ask the questions, Granny provides the answers. But first I'd like to say a little bit about Granny Rocks. That's another name for Beth Green, who's an intuitively guided counselor with some 38 years of experience. She's been a long-time social activist and is the author of 6 books about human behavior. She has unusual insights into our issues, personal and social, as well as a special warmth, which helps us to look more honestly at ourselves. Plus, whatever the question, Granny uses music and humor to deliver a message that has universal applicability and addresses the heart of the matter. So even if you haven't submitted a question for this given show, you may very well discover Granny's comments to other viewers answer questions you don't even know you had. Be aware that Granny answers all questions in the order she receives them, so get yours in as soon as possible. So now, here's Granny!
Welcome to Granny's Place. I'm very glad to see you. I am getting to know some of our viewers because some of you have been popping by Granny's Kitchen, which is 15 minutes after the live show. Only the live show do we do that video conference live, but you can always watch it on Granny Rocks TV on YouTube. So some of you have been coming by to Granny's Kitchen, and we've been talking about the content of each show, and I'm just so delighted that you have. And some of you and I have been talking to each other on the comments, even though I only do that after the show. So we're getting to know each other, and I love that. So I feel much more like I'm greeting friends today.
Yes.
Friends for all
Granny
of us.
with family to
Yes, an extended family.
nurture.
So welcome. And I just want to remind you, this is a show, as Sweet Baby James was saying, where you ask questions and I answer them. If you want to know how to post a question, you go to a post where it posts one of these shows
on Facebook.
And they'll say, click here to submit question, or a submit question here, or something like that.
This is at the Granny Rocks On Facebook page.
And you go there and you see the post and see those words at the beginning, submit your question, and you click and boom, you're taken to a site where you can submit anonymously or non-anonymously. And please get your questions in as soon as you can, because I take them in the order I receive them. And, we're getting some wonderful questions and real communication.
Yay. Okay, are you ready for the first question?
I hope so, James.
Okay.
I'll do my best.
Well, this one's from a real fan of the show. Her name is Elise, and she says, "Hi, Granny. Love your show." Wait.
You're going to just go past that. Elise, I hope you are out there today and that you are listening to this show, because I just want to tell you that you just gave me a big boost. You know, in the song, Give Your Spirit a Big Boost. Right. Well, you just gave my spirit a big boost.
Wonderful.
I really, 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 really appreciate hearing that, because this takes a lot of effort, right?
Yeah.
And we're old. So,
That's right.
Thank you. So, whatever else, you're right. I'm going to agree with everything you say.
Okay. We'll see if she agrees with your answer.
We'll see.
Okay, here we go. I would like to ask you if you have any tips on how to create your own religion. I find the religions that are out there very disempowering because I am part of a minority of religions that all religions either hate or misunderstand. Still, I have a strong need for religious practice in my daily life. Any suggestions on how to develop trust and faith in your own system, goddesses and or gods, beings of your own creation, so that it can truly empower you? I do not seek to create a religion that others would then join and follow. My question is how to create your own individual personal religion that works for you. Love, Elise.
Thank you, Elisa. I think that's a fabulous question. So I want to go back to the question itself because I heard two things, and it could be my addled brain, right? But I heard that you wanted tips on the creation of a religion, but you also were asking about how do you stick to your guns and believe in your own religion. Was that in
I'd say that's
the first part?
Fair statement. Yeah.
The first part of that question. Well, I did that. You don't know that probably, but I did that. I have higher consciousness, meaning I have an intuitive connection to something, and that's something which I call God, or I don't call God, or I call universe, or whatever, that talks to me. And I was guided to write a number of books about a new kind of spirituality, one which brings together humanity and God. Yeah. So there is no distinction. It's not like God is great and we're slime bags or anything like that. Or that God is great and so are we. It's just that we are all one. And therefore, if we all one, if we're a mess, so is God. So it's about the healing of God. Okay, click.
Yeah, that's one of your books, as a matter of fact.
It is
Sacred
one of my
Union, the Healing of God.
And that idea came to me. Those of you who are appalled and who are hanging up on us forever, that idea came to me from God.
Yeah.
And God said, if you're created in my image, well, as above, so below, and all of that stuff. Anyway, so I created a whole spiritual belief system based on that. Or I shouldn't say that I created it. It was created and I was just the channel. And, it was talking about how we're all aspects of God consciousness, and together we are God. God said the totality is God. So that means the rapist and the saint. We're all aspects of God's consciousness. Well, that's where the whole idea of, that separation is no good. So I went out and I believed it. I still do, and I can assure you, people did not like it. In fact, I'm always losing more clients than I gain. I don't know how I've survived this many years. So I had a whole bunch of clients, and they didn't like that.
Right.
So that's why I'm telling you about this.
How can God be subject to evolution?
Oh, yes.
Change.
Oh, well, exactly. And it didn't make them feel good.
If the whole universe is evolving, why not God?
That is exactly the point that I was making, that we're all evolving, including God's consciousness. And that's kind of exciting to me. But a lot of people didn't like it, and they had other beliefs that they preferred. And, I just had to go into my heart and ask myself, am I willing to stand up for this? Would I feel comfortable saying anything else? And the answer was, yes, I'm willing to stand up for this, and I'm not comfortable saying anything else, and I still ain't. Now, I don't always use the concept God, because I think, God is a concept, but it's about the integration of consciousness. But it feels right to me, and everything else felt false. So there it is, Elise. You stand up for whatever feels right to you. Now we're getting to the interesting part of the question, which is, what do you really believe? Yeah. Now I'm going to start offending you, maybe. But I have to take a chance, because I really want to support you in what you're doing or what you're trying to do. You have to start by asking yourself, what do you really, really, really believe that you're willing to stand up for? And why do you believe that? See, at first you could say, well, I believe that squirrels were made, they were the top of the hierarchy, and that one day we're all going to meet in squirreldom. Okay, of course you don't believe that. Well, actually, I don't know. You might, but I doubt it. So when you really lay it out, what do I believe? What do I believe? Go in your heart and say, do I really believe that about squirrels? Or am I just making that up? For instance, do I believe in goddesses because I'm so sick of male chauvinism? Or do I really believe in goddesses? And what are they really? What is a god? What is a goddess? You start looking within, and that's, you see, the key to really having faith in your own religious belief system, no matter what anyone else says, because you have thoroughly vetted your own beliefs, and you also give yourself permission to change your mind at any time, which is really important, because who said that just because you believe something that it is so, or that you have to still believe it tomorrow, because we all keep evolving, right? So you ask yourself what you really believe, really, really, really believe, and then you ask yourself, why do I believe that? Mm-hmm. And does it match my experience? Does it just make me feel high? Does it take me out of reality, or does it help me to live with reality? Those kinds of questions get really important, if you're going to stick with something.
Now, I did notice in her question there is one thing she definitely believes in. She says that she has a strong need for religious practices. So evidently, religious practices work for her in some way.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, James, because I was channeling this character called the Guru. And he was funny. I mean, I've channeled all kinds of hysterical characters like Madame Mazurka, right, who is a dead Transylvanian psychic. And she's much more psychic than I am. And I would, I'd put a scarf on my head and suddenly, darling, come Madame Mazurka. So anyway, so the Guru came in, and he said, to make a sacred space sacred, he said, choose anything and make it sacred. You are the one who projects sacredness onto an object. So he said, for example, you could take that bubble bath bottle.
Right.
Right? Do you
just
remember
happened to
that,
get one today, as a matter of fact.
We did. And he said, if you imbue that bubble bath with sacred characteristics, guess what? There it is, the center of your temple. So right, you can actually create your own rituals, and you can create your own religious symbols, and you can just love them, and you can share them with others. And if they feel attracted to them, wonderful. It doesn't mean that you're trying to, supplant Catholicism, right? But you are trying to find something that is more resonant with you, and it may resonate with other people. I've been lucky because I do have people who've read my books who think, that really makes sense to me. This is common sense.
I'm one of them, as a matter of fact.
You are. I've tried to bring common sense and spirituality together.
Here they are, by the way. Here are the 6 books that she has written. The biggest of which is Living with Reality, Who We Are, What We Could Be, and How We Get There.
Yeah, and you can download that free from the innerrevolution.org website. So I'm all for it, Elise. This is a great opportunity for you to self-examine, to really get in touch with what you feel and what you believe, no matter how it does or does not appeal to others, and to also, understand yourself. And remember, a belief is just a belief and should never be confused with truth. It's just a belief. So, hold your beliefs lightly, let yourself constantly evolve, and have fun with what you're doing, and learn a lot about yourself in the process. So I hope that was helpful.
Great. Next question is from Anonymous. Hello, Granny. I struggle with feelings of fear, and it escalates to terror. When I cannot fix something that is not working and need to call for help to repair it. For example, the pilot light on the gas furnace. These feelings of fear are from my childhood, where I was blamed and punished for anything that went wrong in the house or at my father's work or the drive home from work. I want to stop being so afraid of asking for help?
Now, that's a very interesting question, Anonymous.
Yeah.
Because it really has two aspects to it. And I want to look at both of them, if I'm able to. First of all, my heart goes out to you. What a miserable way to live your life, right? To have that much fear, because stuff is going to go wrong every other second. You know what I mean? At least that's true in my life. Every other second. And if I blame myself or I got fearful every time, that, oh my God, that would be horrible. So my heart goes out to you. But there are two parts to your question. One is about being blamed when something went wrong. I assume that you became the object of anger from somebody. So whether it was your father, something went wrong with him at work and you didn't even have anything to do with it, but he brought home some kind of negative energy towards you, so you were blamed, if I'm understanding correctly. But what you asked me was, how do I get over the fear of asking for help? Now, I do see that there is a connection between those two things, right?
Yeah.
Because, everything is difficult if you can't ask for help, right? But I think we need to isolate the two parts. One is feeling blamed and becoming terrified that you were going to be hurt by somebody whose anger or hatred or tendency to blame or put out negative energy must have been extremely powerful and impacted you tremendously as a child. So for that, of course, we always do. We try to do redos. I'm sure you're obviously a very self-aware person, and you must be doing some kind of help, either self-help or getting counseling or something. But here's something that you can do. I want you to picture your father, coming home in a mood, and the first thing probably you want to do is go hide, right? Because that negative energy is going to come out, and you're afraid of this man. I mean, he's got to have hurt you big time. Okay, so the problem is that once you've internalized that, then no matter what it is going to trigger that same, fear. And it's really just like, oh my God, there's a mouse in the house. Now, I would freak out if there was a mouse in the house, but I do recognize that that's my neurosis, right? That because it's just a mouse and it really can't hurt me, but to me, it's like one of the worst tragedies on the planet is that there's a mouse in the house, and I will throw up and run out of the house or scream or whatever it is. So, I mean, I get it. I understand, pathological fear that over something. But okay, so he's come home in one of these vile moods, and what do you want to do? You probably want to go hide, or get yourself out of the way. So, because you're afraid of him. Well, at this distance, you can stand up to him. I mean, you're not 3 years old, you're not 5 years old, and he can't hurt you anymore. So I want you to see yourself. Try to go back to the earliest sense you have of him doing this. I mean, it could have been, you might have been in the womb for all I know, or you might have been older. And I want you to feel him coming home and just like doing whatever he did. I don't know if he hit you or just yelled and I want you to see yourself standing in your light. I mean, I literally visualize a light around you. And know that in that light, he can't touch you. And so if it's words that are coming at you, screaming at you, see them bouncing back like you're watching a cartoon. You know how these weird things happen in cartoons?
Right.
So you see the energy coming towards you, and it just bounces back to him, and bounces back to him, and bounces back to him. And just see that, and see if he tries to hit you, that is hitting this beam of light around you, and he can't get through it. And of course, he becomes more and more irate, right? Because he can't reach you. But eventually, he'll give up and go find somebody who is vulnerable to him. Now, obviously, as a child, you couldn't do that. I don't know anybody who's got that much light around them that they can stop, a Mack truck from running them over, right? But on a deep emotional, spiritual, psychological level, if you see that, what you're doing is you keep building that light. Now, you can be religious or not religious, it doesn't matter. You can think of that as divine light, or you can think of it as, spiritual energy, or you can just think of it as chi. It really doesn't matter if you use a religious or non-religious understanding of it. Just see that light and watch him become impotent. You're not fighting. You're not doing anything. You're just standing there. And then as you feel that light around you, and you see him incapable of getting through it, feel it getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
As you gain confidence in that light that surrounds you. And I hope everybody is doing this right now, because we've all been terrified by something or somebody, at least most of us, right? I'm going to do it too.
I'm doing it.
Now, I'd like you to picture yourself in your home, and you don't know how to turn on the pilot light, which, as a matter of fact, just happened to us recently. We had to call the gas company to find out if we had a pilot light.
That's true.
I wasn't terrified to call, though. And now continue with that feeling. See, go from that place where you feel surrounded by that light, and pick up the phone. And do it really slowly. Take your time. Take your time. Make sure that light is with you before you dial the number. And as you dial the number. And then you can talk to whomever, a handyman or whoever it is that you're going to call. And if you start to feel the panic or the terror, what I'm getting is you shouldn't power through that. Just say, "Oh, excuse me, I got another call that I have to take," and you hang up. Mm-hmm. And bring yourself back into that place of peace and well-being where you feel safe. And try it again. And slowly build up your confidence, because in fact that person that you're calling wants to help you. That's how he makes a living, or she makes a living.
Right.
And it's not just somebody that you pay. Lots of people will want to help you because it's in our nature to want to be helpful. So after a while you will begin to feel, oh, this is benign. It is not harmful. And you're bringing that feeling of peace into the interaction. And they are more relaxed because they know they can help you, or they hope they can. And when you're calm, they're more likely to feel like they can help you. If you're panicked, they'll feel the panic and they won't even know why. So the more you bring that calm energy into that interaction, the more likely that person is going to respond positively to you. And don't worry if you can't do it perfectly the first time, or if a little bit of fear seeps in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
This isn't going to go away overnight. but you keep trying this. And remember, the most important thing is to come back to building that sense of protection that is coming from the universe, because you've had an experience that makes you feel that what comes from the universe is dangerous. But actually, some are dangerous and some are benign, and some are actually loving, right?
Yeah.
So you've got it, wired in your head that it's all dangerous. But again, the more you come into a calm place without any expectations, you don't even expect that person can help you, but you just go into a calm place, you put out that energy, and you just keep building it and allow it to evolve in however long it takes for you to actually do it unconsciously. So at some point, you will just feel that way, but it may take a little while. Don't be discouraged. Don't get down on yourself. So I hope that helps.
Okay, very good. Good luck.
Do we only have 4 more minutes?
We have, yes, 4 more minutes. So
I only answered 2 questions.
Well, we got a third one here that maybe you can answer in a short time.
I hope so. If not, we'll have to put it off. We have a couple of questions left.
Yes.
Well, I know that. But you get your questions.
This one I think you might have the answer to pretty quick.
Okay, I hope so.
This is from Anonymous. Hi. Why is it so hard to set boundaries with people we love?
Oh, that is easy. Not easy to do, just easy to understand. If we love them, we need them. If we need them, we're their hostage. I did a tape, in the mid-'80s. It was like, I told you I had this inner voice. I still have it, but it's not God anymore, but it is whatever it is. But it felt like that. And I was told somebody should turn on the tape recorder and that I was going to start talking. Well, I didn't even know what topic I was going to talk about. So I opened my mouth. The first tape that I made was the healing of God. And it was all about how God is the totality of all being, the rapist and the saint. And that was the first one. But the second one was called The Alienation of Love. And in it, I found myself talking very authoritatively, of course, because it wasn't coming from me. I don't know where it was coming from. So, and it was about how when we love, we're hostages. And so what I ended up saying, which amazed me, was we're not afraid of not being loved. We're afraid of love, because love makes us a hostage to people. And when we're a hostage to them, it becomes very important to them that they love us, that they like us, that they don't cut us off and all of that.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, we're finding ourselves, doing all kinds of things to keep that love because we need it so desperately, right?
Yeah.
That's why it's called the alienation of love, because our love is being used against us. And people who pick up on these things can actually use it against us. Like, I know that you're going to sell yourself out if you think I'm raising my eyebrow. So I want you to not confront me, so I'm going to raise my eyebrow, right? See? I can only raise one eyebrow because this one got surgery. Okay. Anyway, I can't remember how I did that. I used to be able to raise one eyebrow. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. So there are people who will actually even exploit that because they know that all they have to do is, James,
give you the look or the tone of voice.
The tone of voice.
I don't want to lose that love. I want you to love and like me. That's
right. And it may not even look exactly like that. It may not be external, but you feel it. It's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. So here's my suggestion to, not that you asked me for a suggestion, but I did give you hopefully an answer. So what I suggest is you take a chance. Taking a chance on love, because if the person really loves you, they will want you to be self-expressed. They will want you to grow. They will want you to be happy. And so You take a chance, honey, whoever you are, guy, girl, in between, and you just say what you have to say, do what you need to do, and if that person really loves you, they will confront their own ego and their own desire to control you and support you to be the person that you can be. So I hope that that helped in 4 minutes.
Yeah,
and I want to remind you all that we have a fabulous event coming up, a weekend retreat, October
27th and 28th. Yes.
28th.
A weekend retreat.
A weekend retreat. There's going to be one up in Mackenzie River area. In Oregon, and then there's going to be a group in San Diego, and you can join online. It's going to be a whole weekend. It's going to be wonderful. And then also,
and what's the theme?
The theme is co-creating the life we want, and there is a flyer on theinnerrevolution.org website, theinnerrevolution.org on the website, and you'll also see flyers for our. Oh no, you won't see flyers on the men's retreat, but eventually you will see flyer on it's coming.
Yeah.
We're having a men's retreat in October, and we're having a relationship retreat, and I lead all of these retreats, even the men's retreat, because you don't know that I'm a man, do you? But when I'm working, I'm not anything. I'm just like. So anyway,
neutral.
And come to Granny's Kitchen 15 minutes after this live show, and we've just started a new thing.
What is that?
Well, the new thing is Granny Raps on the News. And this past Wednesday, I talked about Brett Kavanaugh and the woman,
the Supreme Court nominee, for those who don't know.
Yes, and the woman who is accusing him, and how we are becoming corrupt because of the way that we're rooting for people, and that how often we lose our objectivity and just want something to go a certain way because we have an agenda.
Yeah.
And anyway, it was really good, and it was 8 minutes, believe it or not. I did a whole thing in 8 minutes, and it started live at 6:15. So I'm going to do this again. It's going to be a live stream where you and I can talk to each other, and Sweet Baby James will be there too.
Yep.
So it's not like this, so we have to do all this electronic stuff. So I'm going to be just live on Facebook at Granny Rocks Facebook page, Granny Rocks On.
Yep.
And so I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. It's the latest news and my take on it, and I hope it's really, really helpful. So we have Granny Raps on the News at 6:15 Pacific, Granny's Place at 6:30, and then we have at 7:15 Granny's Kitchen. So come on, visit Granny. Take a few hours out of your life to get some love, inspiration, uncommon sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mwah.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah.
See you then.
You too. Bye-bye.